Hey guys, welcome to Pregnancy and Postpartum TV. Today I'm going to be talking all things on how to engage baby's head into the pelvis. I'm going to talk about 9 strategies that you can do during labor if your labor stalls or it's taking too long, you're not progressing. I'm also going to talk about 6 strategies that you can do now during your pregnancy to help you have an easy and faster delivery. Baby's head may engage 1 to 2 weeks before your delivery, or it may engage during labor. But when we have the largest part of the baby's head in the pelvic brim, about 4/5 of the way in, baby is engaged. And this is going to increase your chance of having a vaginal delivery and decrease your risk of having a C-section. A posterior baby decreases the chance that your baby is going to engage properly, or if baby's chin is up, or if the pelvis joints are turned. I'm going to dive into the strategies. Please remember this is general information only and you can get ideas from it, but please ask your midwife, doctor, or healthcare provider before trying any of these strategies. The first strategy is to use a posterior pelvic tilt. A posterior pelvic tilt, if you were against the wall, you would press the small of your back and flatten your back against the wall. And this opens up the inlet to your pelvis. Alternatively, if you arch your back, that's going to close off the inlet a little bit and open up the outlet. The second strategy is to try the abdominal lift and tuck, which is taught by Gail Tully from Spinning Babies. So if you think about your baby and your belly, at the end, your belly may be big, maybe hanging over the front. And if you can lift your belly up, it may help your baby move and be able to engage in your pelvis. At the same time, we're doing that same posterior pelvic tilt to open the inlet to the pelvis. At the onset of a contraction, you can start this and continue this for the full contraction. And if your labor is not progressing, you can do this for 10 contractions to see if you can get things going. You can either do this yourself by holding up your belly and doing your pelvic tilt, or you can get a partner or doula to stand behind you and lift up your belly as you tuck your pelvis under. The third strategy is to get your legs into extension, which also opens up the inlet of the pelvis. So if we are thinking about our pelvis, it is aligned here. Extension is going to be when we have our leg extending behind us, which is opposite from flexion, which is the knee is going up this way, and we want to get both of our legs in extension. So for this, one of the positions we can try is flying cowgirl, where you can lower yourself down on the side again, and then using your peanut ball, you can get the peanut ball behind you, and with your knees open wide, your feet are not quite touching, you can move your knees farther behind so you're getting a little back bend and you're getting that leg extension position there. You could try holding this on one side through 3 to 6 contractions, flip over to the other side and hold it for another 3 to 6 contractions. The next position is the waltzers position, which is a last resort position, and you need your healthcare provider to help you with this. But you're going to move your bum all the way down towards the end of your bed, and then you're going to lie on the bed with your legs dangling over the end of the bed. Your feet will not touch, and so it's dangling. You can also support by putting a rolled up towel or mat underneath your lower back to support as your legs are dangling. If this is very uncomfortable, there's also the froggy waltzers alternative, where you take your feet together and you're in a sort of a butterfly or froggy position with your legs extended over the bed again. And again, you want your knees to be below your hips in this position. You're going to want a support person, your healthcare provider, watching you very carefully and monitoring you to make sure that you're not going to slip off the end of the bed and that you're comfortable and safe. If your bed is too low down to the ground and so that your legs can't hang, you can also put something under your hips at the top of your leg to get that position where your legs are in extension. The other option is if you are having a water birth, you can do the position in the water where you're getting on all fours and then you're finding an upward dog position. You can keep your knees bent and you're sort of floating there, but both of your legs are in extension. However, this is only going to be recommended if you're in the water. The fourth strategy is to try a forward-leaning inversion, which is going to help the uterus hang by the cervical ligaments and get baby in a really great fetal position. So for this, we need a sturdy chair. You can use a bed or even a hospital bed, and we're going to come up and kneel on the edge. You can also have a person here to make sure that you are stable and safe. So we want to find a lengthened position to start, and then you can sit back, place your hands on the edge. You may find it helpful to have a stool or something to come down onto, then walking your hands down onto the ground, making sure that you're feeling safe and stable. Then you can come right down onto your elbows. Head is not touching. You can tuck your chin as well as tuck your pelvis for that posterior pelvic tilt. And we're going to take 3 breaths here, or you can stay here for the duration of your contraction. Good. You can also have someone jiggle your hips here if that feels good. And then we'll come on up. So coming up safely again. Someone can also grab your hands and help you come up. Then we're going to come into our kneeling position again, which is just important. And we'll take 2 or 3 breaths here as well before we finish up. The fifth strategy is to activate the parasympathetic nervous system by rebozo, sifting, or jiggling, or vibrations. So the rebozo is a traditional woven cloth that is woven by indigenous women in Mexico. They are passed down generation to generation, and I highly recommend seeking out authentic rebozo training. And I will also link below where you can buy an authentic rebozo so that the women in Mexico making them benefit. How I used the rebozo was to go on all fours and have a partner or support person put the rebozo underneath your stomach, and then they can hold the ends up and lift to take the pressure of the baby off the mother, and then it can make a slight bicycle motion back and forth, which feels really good to the mother and can help get baby in a really good position. You can find a similar benefit from jiggling or shaking the apples, where a partner would get behind and jiggle the hips, or a mother can lie on the side where someone can jiggle her hips and jiggle her legs. The sixth strategy is called dip the hip, originally from Deb Lawrence. And so you can get over a table or a higher bed, and you could also support yourselves with pillows so you're relaxed over here. And then you're going to bend one knee and dip one hip down and make figure eights. And you want this to be a dramatic dip in the hip. It's not just little circles here, but you want to dip. So you're dropping one hip down as you go back and forth. The seventh strategy is a side lying hip release. So you're going to lay on the edge of a bed or the edge of a couch and stack your hips. It's good if you have a support person here that can push back on your hip to make sure that your hips are staying stacked and that you're not falling over. Your belly may be hanging over the edge of the bed. You can straighten out your bottom leg and then make a 90-degree angle with your top leg. And then you're going to take it up and over and let it fall over. Again, your hip will have the tendency, so you want someone to pull back your hip. And then you're just going to let your front leg hang, and it's not going to be touching the ground in front of you. And so you're going to get a nice stretch here, getting baby in a nice position. This is a great way to fully relax your pelvic floor, and you can hold for 3 minutes on either side. If your baby's head has now entered the inlet, but it has stalled and it's not going through the outlet, you can try side lunges. You can do this either on the ground, putting your foot out to the side and moving back and forth, or even more effective might be using a bed or a chair. And so you're standing up and you can take your foot out to the side and lunge to the side, moving back and forth. If your labor's not progressing, you could try this through 5 or 6 contractions per side. Another option, if your baby's head is engaged in the inlet but not the outlet, is duck walking. So we're sort of going to find a yogi squat position here. You could also go against a wall and lower down into your yogi squat, and then make your feet flat on the ground, and then you're going to walk forward. You can use your hands to support you, but you're going to move your feet forward. You can take about 8 steps forward and then work up and see how many steps you can do. Those are the strategies that you can use during labor if your labor has stalled or it's not progressing the way that you had hoped. 6 things that you can do now during pregnancy are: 1, you can do prenatal yoga. I have a whole playlist on this, and I'm also going to add a new prenatal yoga specifically to engage baby's head into your pelvis. You can also practice the forward leaning inversion that I showed you earlier and hold this for about 30 seconds and then come up into the kneeling position where you are upright and hold that for another 2 breaths. Of course, walking, especially brisk walking, is one of the best exercises that you can do during pregnancy. You can also do curb walking, where you're walking with one leg up on a curb, and so your hips are tilted, and then of course make sure that you do the other side as well. You can also walk sideways up the stairs. The 4th strategy is to do hip circles and figure 8 and pelvic tilts on a birthing ball. So you can do hip circles and also figure 8, where you're dipping down one hip and then doing it on the other side is great to do daily. And you can also do your pelvic tilts back and forth. When you're getting a birthing ball, you want to blow it up so it is nice and firm, and so you're getting a 90-degree or even an angle where your hips are slightly above your knees. So I'm 5'3" and I'm using a 65-centimeter birth ball. Having good posture can also help your baby engage when your baby is ready. Sitting upright or even leaning forward is great to help your baby engage. It's helpful to try to avoid sitting on the couch where you're slouched down, but when you're leaning forward, it's allowing space for your baby to get into the right position and hopefully avoid a posterior position. The last strategy is to use healthcare professionals, body workers, chiropractors, prenatal massage therapists to work with your pelvis, making sure that your pelvis is aligned. Prenatal massage, they can work with your muscles and ligaments around your pelvis. It can also feel really relaxing and good to help get baby into the right position. I hope you found those strategies helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. I will also keep making pregnancy workouts and yoga every week. If you want to get notified, you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. And to support me, share this with another pregnancy community that you think would enjoy it. I also have lots of free resources that I will link to in the description box below, including a pregnancy meal plan that I put together as a registered dietitian. I have a guide on how to prepare your pelvic floor for birth and the fastest recovery after, as well as an ebook on how to reduce and cope with pain during labor. Thanks so much for joining me again. If you found that helpful, I'm going to link to the whole natural birth education playlist as well as the prenatal yoga and workout playlist there. You can save it and come back to different workouts whenever you like.